Okay, last video, this is science. So take out your book to page 245, lesson 2, what changes on Earth happen quickly. So we're going to start with the can you explain it? How can a volcano cause Earth's surface to change quickly? So look at the pictures. How an eruption caused the land to change. So how can a volcano cause Earth's surface to change quickly? So you're just going to write a sentence telling me how a volcano can cause the Earth's surface to change. So what happens when the mountain when a volcano erupts? How quickly do you think this happens? A lot of dust, a lot of lava, ashes, things like that. Okay, let's turn the page. Earthquakes. We live in Southern California, so we do know what earthquakes are. We have a lot of earthquakes. So let's read about them. An earthquake happens quickly. The shaking starts suddenly. It usually lasts for only a few seconds. An earthquake can cause many changes to the land. Cracks may form on Earth's surface. The ground may shift and lose some strength. When the ground shakes, everything on it shakes too. Buildings may sway, trees may fall over. So if you look in the before picture, there's nothing, but in the after picture, you see a crack of where the Earth is like this and then shifts. And so the Earth is made up of different plates. And these are big, huge plates of rocks, of huge solid rock. And so when there's a shift in the plates, that's when the Earth shake. And that's when it happens. An earthquake is a sudden shaking of the ground that causes land to rise and fall. It can cause fast changes to Earth's surface. So what changes can be caused by an earthquake? Circle or choose all the correct answers. Cracks on Earth's surface, shifting ground, swaying buildings. So you'll show me that paper. Don't do 247. Turn the page. Volcanoes. Now you may think we don't have a volcano. We do have a volcano in California. Have you ever heard of Mammoth Mountain? Mammoth Mountain is a volcano. And it has erupted. So before many volcanoes erupt, they look like quiet mountains. This is Mount St. Helens just days before it erupted in 1980. And I remember when this erupted. Mount St. Helens is in Washington State, way up towards Canada. We got ashes from Mount St. Helens in Anaheim when this happened. So we had ashes falling on our car and falling on the ground from Mount St. Helens. And the sky looked like it was a thunderstorm coming. During an eruption, ash and dust burst from the opening at the top. Lava pours out from openings in the mountain. All of this happens quickly. After the eruption, a huge chunk has blown off the mountaintop. Ash and dust cover the ground nearby. Some volcanoes gain new land at the bottom where lava cools into rock. A volcano is an opening in Earth's surface where lava, gases, and bits of rock erupt. It can cause fast changes. So there are lots of volcanoes on Hawaii. In fact, those islands are made from volcanoes. And just to let you know, yes, Mammoth Mountain is a volcano also. So if you ever get a chance to get up there, you can check that out. Okay, turn the page. Landslides. We have a lot of landslides in Southern California because we have a lot of brush fires, which burn the vegetation, so there's nothing keeping the dirt on the hillside, and we get landslides when it rains a lot. A landslide is when rocks and soil slide down a hill, mountain, or other slope. Once a landslide starts, it moves fast. The rushing soil, rocks, and mud can run down a slope at 10 to 35 miles per hour. Look at the pictures to explore how a landslide changes Earth's surface quickly. So there's the picture before, and then look at after. So before, a landslide starts when the soil and rocks on the side of a slope become too heavy and start to slide. Often heavy rain triggers a landslide, so that happens in California a lot. A landslide moves a lot of land very quickly. Both the slope and the area around it change shape. Large areas can be buried or washed out. There was such a huge landslide in Northern California after a big fire. People were buried under the mud. It was really bad, really bad. So what changes do landslides make to Earth's surface? Choose all the correct answers. They start volcanoes and earthquakes. They change the shape of hills. They bury or wash out areas around a slope. So whenever there's heavy rain and they're saying there could be landslides, listen to that, okay? Pay attention, because they're not saying it because they like to say it. They're saying it because it could happen. And if you live in a hilly area where we had a fire and there's no, what happens with the brush, what happens with the plants and the trees, those will stop the land from sliding. Those keep the land in place. But when those are gone, it's like going down a slide into a pool. Okay, turn the page. Look at the pictures of 3 types of fast changes to Earth. Draw a line to match each picture to change it to the change it describes. So draw a line to each one. Hurricanes. We don't have hurricanes here. Hurricanes happen on the East Coast because we don't have the right weather for hurricanes. The beach looks quiet now, but a hurricane is on the way. Hurricanes form over warm water in the ocean. And the Atlantic Ocean is a lot warmer than the Pacific Ocean. Our ocean is very cold. And if you've ever been in our ocean, you would know it's really cold. But the Atlantic Ocean can get very warm, like 70 degrees. So that's when the hurricanes happen. The storm brings strong wind and heavy rain. The wind makes large, powerful waves that crash on the beach. Wind, waves, and rain move sand to new places. A hurricane can uproot trees and cause flooding too. A hurricane is a tropical storm with powerful winds and heavy rain. It can cause fast changes to Earth's surface. So those are hurricanes. And I'm kind of glad we don't live where there's hurricanes. What does this picture show? Write to describe what you see. So it looks like waves crashing onto a street from the beach because the winds have blown the waves up, right? Floods. We can get floods here. Riverside County can get floods. San Bernardino County can get floods. When there's lots of rain and nowhere else for the water to go, we can get flash floods. Flash floods are when the water starts moving so fast it just takes everything with it, kind of like it's a new river going down the street or something. So look at the picture to explore how a flood changes Earth's surface. A flood occurs when a huge amount of water overflows or soaks an area that is usually dry. A flood starts quickly, often with little warning. Rain may fill a river with extra water. When the river cannot hold anymore, it overflows. That triggers a flood. A flood can knock down trees and wash away land. It can bury huge areas with mud or silt. When the water goes down, the land is changed. Turn the page. What takes place during the flood? Write 1, 2, or 3 to show the correct order. And that ends our science. Okay, so that ends our science of what we're doing today. So make sure I see the pages that we needed to fill out, and we will see you tomorrow. Have a good day.